Okay, Wheel of Time is being made into a series. I am so happy about that. I am beyond happy about that. I've wanted it to be made into a series ever since I first read it. I thought it's absolutely amazing. I just hope, I'm praying, I'm fingers crossed, everything's crossed to make that nobody messes it up, as long as they do it justice. I don't mind, whether the graphics are shit or anything like that. Just get good actors and good writers. Now the showrunner, Rafe Judkins, I've not really heard much of him. Apparently wrote a couple of episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is good, but it's not great. And I can't remember what episodes he wrote and whether they were any good or not. It all blends into one at the end of the day, that show. So this seems to be the first show he's actively running. So I can't really say whether he's any good or not, and that's frustrating me. However, he does seem to be a fan. He's also interacting with the fans, and I think that's great. You can get a feel for what the fandom wants, the kinds of things they'd be against. So I think that's great, and I think most fans are crying out for a faithful adaptation. Everything I've heard about the series so far, I seem to have faith in. There was one minor thing that I am a bit apprehensive about. That was when they released a blurb at some point. I can't remember where it was from, but it seemed to imply that Maureen was the main character. I really hope that's not the direction they're going. If they really want to portray a female as main characters, fine. Do a Gwen or Nynaeve, not Maureen, because she is supposed to be mysterious at the beginning. The Aes Sedai is supposed to be feared. Well, not necessarily feared, but definitely met with apprehension. They are mysterious, and I think that's quite important to a lot of the story, and you're never going to get that if Maureen is the main character. So I really, really hope that is not the direction they're going. I have heard that the very first scene will be Rand and Tam on the road, which I think would be great. If that's the way they're opening it, that's cool, because that seems to imply that Rand is the main character. Now I don't know whether they're doing a prologue or not. I'd like to see that prologue because I think it's quite cool. But if they don't do that, that's fine. And then they open with Rand as a main character. That is the only nagging apprehension I have. The book series is 15 books long. They're not going to devote an entire series to each one. That'd be going on for 15 years. It's not going to happen. So, what is going to happen? I don't know. What would I prefer to happen? Now, I don't know if Rafe Judkins is ever going to see this or whether it's already set in stone. I don't care. This is how I would think it would be best set out. So, 8 seasons. Season 1, just be the Eye of the World. I think with that, you do need to spend some time getting to know the characters before you do anything more drastic. The Eye of the World, fairly simple story at the end of the day. So you get to know where these characters are before you involve them in some more complex plots. That would also involve a good finale of, Rand finding out he can channel. That's a great cliffhanger, really, at the end of the day. I think that's great. Then season 2, The Great Hunt and Dragon Reborn. This can concentrate on Rand finding out he's a Dragon Reborn and then coming to terms with it, eventually accepting it and going out to prove to the world that he is the Dragon Reborn. And you can have the ending with him holding up Calendor in a Stone of Tear. I think that's great. Season 3, just a Shadow Rising. There's a lot going on in that book. A lot goes on in that book. So I don't think you can relegate it to half a season. I think you need the entire season to go through all of that story. And it does have a good ending. Essentially, Rand is now got an army. So that's a great ending. Season 4, The Fires of Heaven, interspersed with the New Spring as flashbacks. Don't think they need to do New Spring as a separate series or prequel or anything like that. I think you can incorporate it into flashbacks, especially in Fires of Heaven. I think it would work quite well there. And ending with Lord of Chaos, because oh my god, that would be a great finale. That would be an awesome finale. You have Demise Wells at then, and I think that I mean, you can't really get a better ending to a series than that. Season 5. Now we're getting into the books that I can't remember what happens in them. I've read them about 2 or 3 times now, and I still can't remember much what happens in them. So there's not a lot of story going on here, and I think you can cut a bit of it out. But for season 5, you can have Crown of Swords, Path of Daggers, and Winter's Heart. Now, I think that's adequate enough. You can cut quite a bit out of that, I'm fairly certain, but you've also got a fantastic finale, the Cleansing of Sidene. That would be great. That is a good finale. Again, this is structured on what would be good as a season finale, and I think the Cleansing of Sidene would be season 6. Knife of Dreams and Gathering Storm. Now these ones I've only read once, so I can't really remember exactly what goes on in them. One of the reasons I'm rereading them. The Gathering Storm, I don't recall it has a finale as such, and I think with the last 3 books they're essentially one book, so it's not really a finale. But it does have Rand just losing his shit on the top of Dragonmount, and I think that while it's not got the epicness of Demise Wells or the monumental act at the end of Winter's Heart, it does have a very personal finale. Everything's getting to Rand, and he's almost lost it now, and he's up on Dragonmount, and it's lovely, a brilliant scene, I love it. So I reckon that would be a great finale there. Season 7, Towers of Midnight. Again, I can't really remember much of it, but I think you do have a bit of a finale there where Moiraine comes back and things like that, and I think that's great. It can essentially start off season 8, which of course will be Memory of Light. I do think you need to spend an entire season with Memory of Light. It's not something that you can rush past. You need to tie up all these loose ends. You need to have so much plot to go through that I do think it needs an entire season. And yes, there's no Crossroads of Twilight in that entirely, because seriously, what actually happens in that book? I can't remember anything that happens in that book. At least with all the others, I do remember something. Whereas Crossroads of Twilight, I've read about 2 or 3 times now, and I don't think anything happens in the book. Nothing. So, yeah, if there are any important things in there, they're like 1 or 2 scenes. So that's how I would like to go. How do I think they're going to go? Well, from what it seems like, the first episode is called Leave Takings. Now that makes sense. You have the entire first episode set in the 2 rivers. It helps you get to know these characters. You can spend time with them before letting them off on their own adventure. I think that's great. Second episode is called Shadows Waiting. Now that implies they're going to go to Shadow Lugoth in that, which is about a third of the way through the book. They are going to try to do 2 books per season, especially since I think Rafe Judkins did tweet some notes he put in The Great Hunt. So it does look like they are trying to do The Great Hunt as well. If we go by this, 2 books a season, let's see how it'll play out. Season 1, The Eye of the World in The Great Hunt. Again, not my ideal way of doing it, but you can get the idea that Rand is a dragon reborn out early, and so it won't be much of a spoiler if anybody does know about it. And then you can get his acceptance at the end, and you can have the entire season being about this kind of acceptance of him being this chosen one. You can start off with him being a Taviran, and go on from there. And I think that could be the theme of that first season. I think that'd be okay. Second season, Dragon Reborn and Shadow Rising. Again, I wouldn't necessarily have it this way. Again, Shadow Rising has a lot of plot, and I would like that to be an entire season on its own. But Dragon Reborn doesn't have a lot of that. You've got your main character, and he's not in there at all. hardly at all. To have an entire season devoted to Dragon Reborn where your main character's hardly in there is probably not going to be good for television. It was okay for books, but probably not good for television, I don't know. But again, with Shadow Rising, you've got that good finale. Season 3 is basically my season 4. The Fires of Heaven and Lord of Chaos, and again, you've got that finale at Dumai's Wells. I think that's great. That'd be a great finale. Awesome. Brilliant. Season 4 would be Crown of Swords and Path of Daggers. I think that would be okay. I can't remember what happened at the end of Path of Daggers. Season 5 would be Winter's Heart and Crossroads of Twilight. So that would be a very slow season, I think, because I don't think anything else happens in Winter's Heart apart from the cleansing of Sardines. So they might merge that with the previous season, which would probably work, I suppose. Season 6, Knife of Dreams and Gathering Storm. Again, you've got that finale on the Gathering Storm, where Rand is losing his shit on Dragonman. I think that'd be great. And then Season 7, Tales of Midnight, Memory of Lights. I would still put in an 8th season there. Go to Game of Thrones route. Do 8 seasons rather than 7, and still have Memory of Lights, or at least have part of Memory of Light in Season 7 and the rest in Season 8, because you do need that kind of length, I reckon, just to sort out all the loose ends and add in all the rest of the plot that happens in that, because so much happens in that book. Now, how long should the episodes be? This is great because it's been done on a streaming service, so they don't need to have the episodes at any specific length. So I think they could go for a full hour for each episode, which is around the same amount of time that Game of Thrones has, and is more than a lot of other American programs where it's only 45 minutes because they've got to squeeze in adverts. So I think that'd be great, and that could be potentially be more costly. But I think what they could do is just add in a few of these extra character moments, which are important in order for us to understand where these characters are going. And that doesn't cost a lot of extra money. I mean, it's not like I'd advocate putting in, more scenes at Dumai's Wells or something like that. No, add in these extra character moments. But again, I don't think they should restrict themselves to any particular length, as long as the episode needs to be, I reckon. And I'm a big fan of finales being extra long. Have a 2-hour finale or something like that. It's feature length, it'd be great. I mean, if you're adding an extra plot just to bulk it up, that could otherwise be cut. Don't bother. But don't cut out character moments. I think that's quite important. And either way, with either my version or what I think is going to happen, you can do that. How many episodes? Minimum 10. At the very minimum, you'd have 3 or 4 episodes per book. In my season 5, for instance, which has got Crown of Swords, Path of Daggers, and Winter's Heart, you've got about 3 or 4. And there's not a lot of plot that goes on in something like that, like Winter's Heart. So you can easily condense that down. Even if they go the way that I think they're going to go, that's 5 episodes. That's essentially a 5-hour movie when you think about it. So I think that would be ideal. Well, not necessarily ideal. Ideal would be spending 10 episodes on one book. I think that'd be better. But 12, 13 episodes, I think you could do that. I think they could do that. So in which case it'll be like 6 episodes to see a book, and I'll be fine with that. I think that's enough to cover a lot of the plot. At any rate, I really, really hope this is going to be freaking awesome. As I say, it is one of the books that or series that I read when I was younger, and I have so many good memories of it. Like when I'm reading it, it just feels like coming home. I know the world so well, and I know the characters so well. It's like, I'm friends with them, I know them. I just want it to be, at the very least, good, and I hope it's going to be popular. I mean, some things that are good aren't necessarily popular. If it's popular, it will earn more seasons, and they will be able to tell the entire story.